So the message coming from Bosnia and Herzegovina is clear. So our message, as you just did, must be clear too. The future of Bosnia and Herzegovina lies in our union.
Well, for more on this, let's bring in Nevenka Tromp, a lecturer in East European Studies at the University of Amsterdam. She joins us live from Dubrovnik. Nevenka, thank you very much for talking to us. Why the push now to accelerate the process of EU expansion in the Western Balkans? What's key about the timing here?
Well, obviously, European Union is known as normative power, meaning that membership of the European Union is a very tedious and long process that is governed by Copenhagen criteria, all sorts of economic and political reforms that a candidate state has to fulfill to become a member. However, since 2014, and certainly since 2022, the security issues caused by the Russian invasion in Ukraine and Russia's war in order to carve the territory of Ukraine has sent a totally different message to the rest of the Europe and the world. And now European Union is not so much concerned by its status and concerns as a normative power, but the first concerns European Union has for Europe at this point are security issues. So the new member states and potential new member states are not going to be scrutinized as the other post-communist and former communist countries were before they were admitted to EU. And Bosnia and Herzegovina, Moldova, and Ukraine are now three new states for which we are actually seeing and facing totally new set of the rules where European Union is going to prioritize not economic and issues and prosperity of the Union as a whole, but European Union is now very much going at trying to resolve security issues and a borderline antemurale against Russian influence in the Europe, and especially in the areas of the Europe that are not still members of EU, and Bosnia and two other countries are very good example that political and security issues are now governing and speeding up the accession and expansion of European Union membership.
Nevenka, we heard there from Ursula von der Leyen. She says Bosnia's done enough 8 years on. Has it? And what concerns still remain about Bosnia and Herzegovina's accession?
First of all, if we go back to the issue of European Union as normative power, we have to know that in 2019, Bosnia and Herzegovina was presented by the European Union with 14 issues that should be dealt with before real accession and resolving, chapter by chapter admission criteria were done. So we actually see that as of the last year, European Union reduced these 14 demands, requirements to 4. And we see actually an urgency on the way of EU to admit Bosnia based on these issues, and this we can see from the perspective of political expedience that was not the same as the last two member states. Bulgaria and Romania were admitted in 2007 and Croatia in 2013. So we basically can state that Bosnia is not fulfilling all these criteria that normally would be required. But yes, this speeded process has its legitimacy and reasons, and I think we as a Europe as a whole should absolutely be positively inclined to this political expediency of EU, because Bosnia and Herzegovina certainly wants and deserves to be member of EU, which will increase its right to exist, its economic prosperity and development, and certainly it will increase its security because Bosnia and Herzegovina is one of post-Yugoslav states, has a serious problem when it comes to its preservation of its outside borders. And in many ways, Bosnia and Kosovo as well, another post-Yugoslav state that is now in some sort of in-between area, are the areas where we actually could see that the disintegration of Yugoslavia has not been fully finished, closed, because borders and on Kosovo and Bosnia and Herzegovina have been still an open political issue, meaning that the states like Serbia still would like to expand its borders at the expenses of Kosovo and Bosnia and Herzegovina. So in short, membership of Bosnia in EU will certainly be a very sound security that Bosnian borders as they are since 92 and 95 will not be altered, and that territorial integrity of Bosnia and Herzegovina as being member of EU actually would be more secured if we leave Bosnia in some sort of limbo in between space between interests of Russia and interests of European Union. So it is a very commendable and very good development.
Nevenka, just briefly, I did also want to ask you about Ukraine and Moldova. They're set to move a step further in the process too. But how does the bloc absorb a war-devastated country like Ukraine of more than 40 million people?
Within this, if you see these three countries, then we could see that Bosnia and Herzegovina is actually more ready than the rest. But also Bosnia and Herzegovina is setting up an immensely important precedent. Precedent being that if Bosnia becomes a member of EU, it will be the first Muslim majority state within this civilizational development as European Union is offering. So Bosnia and Herzegovina is a category apart. When it comes to Moldova and when it comes to Ukraine, there are very different cases. But you are very right that it would be unprecedented that Ukraine, a state in a war, would be admitted as EU membership, because what you are doing, you are actually exporting more insecurity in the European Union than you would wish for. And I think that this very hasty way to include Ukraine in European Union might actually be, at this point, slight security risk. But if you look from the perspective of Ukrainian people, and we see that there is absolutely overwhelming dedication of Ukrainian people to be part of big European Union community, then I think we should take it very seriously, and we try, despite the hurdles, despite this ongoing war for which we have no idea when and how it will end up, that we should respect the wish of overwhelming majority of Ukrainian people and to greet Ukraine as a prospective member and probably do everything that at this point is in power of European Union to embrace Ukraine. Moldova is a totally different case. Again, why is it important? Because we see in the internal structure of Moldova, Ukraine, that Russia already was preparing some sort of strategic policy, because and Moldova and Ukraine have been territorially divided by existence of de facto states. And through these de facto states, Transnistria in Moldova and Donbas region in Ukraine, actually Russia has already a foot in these states and wants to keep it a part of its post-Soviet dominions. And whatever is happening in the future, in a short-term or long-term perspective, these people, inhabitants of Moldova and Ukraine, should be asked. And as far as I'm concerned, the overwhelming majority of Moldovan people see their future and prosperity on the European side and not on the side of Russian revived or restored influence.
Nevenka, thank you very much for your time. Nevenka Tromp speaking to us live there from Dubrovnik in Croatia.